What's going on, everybody? It's Bill Bailey with today's Boondoggle. And on the show today is Robby and Vicky of the band Sicksense. What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Thanks for having us. We're doing great.
Yeah, no, good to have you. I was checking out some of the stuff and I wanted to get into that, but usually when I have somebody on for the first time, I like to get a quick background. So originally, what did you guys want to be when you grew up?
Ooh.
Originally, oof. I think you probably wanted to be a million different things.
I wanted to be a million different things. When I
Yeah.
was younger, I wanted to be a soccer player playing in like one of the European clubs or something. That was one of my first things. Then I also wanted to be a professional wrestler, which I am doing now. I'm also doing that too. So that's very cool. It definitely
Nice.
wasn't music. It definitely wasn't music. But yeah, I was one of these kids who was like, I could be this, I could be that. So
Pilot, I
maybe
think.
maybe I should just be an actor instead so I can play all these roles. Because yeah, I wanted to be like a pilot too. I think if all else failed, I was going to learn how to fly planes and helicopters. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah. For myself, I don't think I had that as a kid. You know how a lot of kids are like, I want to be a doctor when I grow up. I didn't have that. I was just like, I want to play. I want to have fun. I want to get through school and I'll figure it out. And I think I actually did get into like an economics university. I dropped out in the first month. I hated it. Um, I think it was just music. When I heard heavy music for the first time, that was the first time in my life that I knew this is what I want to do.
Nice. And then, like, when was that for both you guys where, like, the music bug caught you?
For me, it was late middle school, early high school. That's when I started discovering heavier music.
Yeah, and for me, it's was at 13 years old. I was playing video games, and a lot of the soundtracks in those games had a lot of heavy bands and music. And that's how I discovered a band like Slipknot, and it led me through this like wormhole where I started getting into heavier and heavier bands, and I was all about that. I'd drive my mom crazy every single night, just practicing heavy vocals after school, and I was doing it as a hobby for a long time. And then like I kind of getting into music and taking it like, seriously and professionally, it kind of happened by accident later on in life, but I kind of fell into it and I've been here ever since. So it's been a ride.
Mhm.
Nice. Was mom like getting ready to call the local pastor for an exorcism or something when you're practicing vocals?
She just come in and yell, "Shut up!" and show me her own vocal pipes.
Nice. This is how you hit that note. Take out the trash.
Exactly.
Nice. And then, like, when did you guys start like getting serious and starting your own bands and everything?
For me, it was definitely later. Like I said, I got into this economics university, which was at the time I was living in Greece and I was on a small island, like 15,000 people maximum. There was like maybe three other kids in my entire high school that listened to heavy music. So there were no aspirations there. So I got into the university that was in Athens, like the capital of Greece, 5 million people. And that's all I cared about. I just cared about going to the big city so I could meet people that also like metal music, that we could hang out and stuff like that. That was it. And I started around the age of 19 or 20, maybe trying to do stuff. Um, but it wasn't until 25 or 26 that's when it really kicked off for me and that's when I joined the Agonist, for example, and music became very real. Suddenly I'm touring, I'm writing music in the studio and meeting fans and social media exploding. Like that's when it was very real for me.
Yeah, and I had a kind of similar story to Vicky's. I started recording my own music, doing rapping stuff at around age 18, and I started getting involved in the metal scene in Montreal, my hometown, around the age of 19, and that's where I joined this band called Hasta la Muerte. It was my first original project that was taking things a little more seriously than anything else I did at that point in time, and we put out our very first single and music video for our song "Pour Another Shot," and from there I got contacted by Rich Ward from Fozzy and Stuck Mojo, and he pretty much asked me to start collaborating with him. he flew me down to Atlanta, and it turned out he wanted me to be the singer of Stuck Mojo and work on their last record, which ended up becoming Here Come the Infidels. So I worked on that record with Rich and Andy Sneap, and like I said, I got kind of dragged into the music like from the get-go. It was like my very first project got me into an established band with incredible musicians in the industry. Yeah, and I've been there ever since, and it's been quite a wild ride.
Nice. And then you got the wrestling connection there too, because you mentioned that's something else that you've been getting into, which is cool.
Yeah. I got trained by Seth Rollins at Black and Brave Academy in Davenport, Iowa, a couple of years ago. So
Oh, nice.
Trying that.
Nice. Doing a lot of the indie scene and stuff, or
Yeah. I've been trying to do stuff in the Midwest, but things have really been picking up behind the scenes with me in terms of the music stuff, like with Sicksense. And Vicky and I run our own agency called Sound Escape Agency, where we take care of other artists, mostly our own projects, and we deal with all the merch and sending that out to our fans directly.
Okay, yeah. So you're definitely keeping busy.
Really busy, too busy.
And then, Vicky, you mentioned the Agonist, and you guys are getting ready to go hit the road here shortly, correct?
Yeah. We have our first tour after this whole pandemic chaos with Hypocrisy, Karash Angren, and Hideous Divinity. And it's starting end of April all through May. Rob is actually joining us on that tour to help out with like merch and driving and teching overall, could use all the help we could get. So it's really exciting because I'm not one usually that gets excited before tours happen, but it's been so long since we've been on tour, and especially the States. We haven't toured the States since 2017.
Wow.
So I'm very excited for this one.
Yeah. I'm definitely, looking forward to hopefully you guys making the Cleveland area here. Now,
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it was I didn't see it on this
I don't
particular
think
tour,
it is.
but
Yeah.
down the line, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask too, like, how did well, first of all, your husband and wife. So, how did you guys meet, and then how did Sicksense come to be?
So we met at Heavy MTL
in 2015.
2015.
Yeah.
I was playing that year, and we had, a pass for every day, not just the day that we were playing. But I met you the day after we played our show,
the day
right?
after you guys played
Yeah,
the show.
so we played, let's say, on a Saturday. I think it was Saturday.
Yeah, we met the Sunday.
Yeah, next day we went with my band just to watch and hang, and it was a Slipknot actually.
Yeah,
headlining that year. Yeah. And Rob was there as a guest from Fozzy, right?
Fozzy invited me backstage and was hanging out.
And so he was in this band, like you said, Hasta la Muerte at the time. And I knew some of those guys because they knew members from the Agonist. So we were in the backstage area, in the food area. And I think it was his drummer. He was like, yo, Vicky, come over here, So like I walked over there. I was like, what does this guy want? He's like, hey, sit with us. And there were a few people at the table that we knew. And, I sat like next to Robby, and that's kind of how we met.
Yeah. Then we were like glue. We stuck together the rest of the night and got together.
We saw Slipknot together.
Yeah. And we've been together ever since. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
How romantic. Slipknot bringing people together,
Yeah.
It's awesome. And then you guys decided to tie the Slipknot. So there you go.
That's what we're calling it now, the Slipknot. Yeah.
And then so how did Sicksense come together then? And then what's the meaning? How did the name come up and all that?
Oh, okay. Well,
You start
it
this.
was like we didn't intend to do an original project together, but it ended up coming together naturally. I ended up auditioning for this band at the time. They were called Keychain, which was composed of our current guitarist Bran and our drummer Cody. They were in this band Keychain, and they were looking for a new singer. So I auditioned for this band, hoping to join them, and they sent me 3 demos. that I worked on. And then by the end of it, before I got to the third demo, Bran was like, "What do you think about introducing a second vocalist to this band?" And I was like, "Sure." And I think I have just the person. Why don't we ask my wife Vicky to be singing here? And they were a little hesitant. They were like, "Well, she's really busy with the Agonist. We don't know how that's going to turn out." But we started working on the songs, and then they were like, "Okay, you know what? Yeah, definitely, we got to move forward with this and do whatever it takes to get her on board." So we started working that way. And the very first song we worked on together was "Make Believe," and then from there we started to keep Vicky's vocals in mind, and I started writing my lyrics in that way moving forward.
Yeah,
And then for the name,
and
how did
then
you come up with that?
yeah, at that point afterwards, I think it was Bran that came to us with this, and we agreed right away that like, okay, we should start fresh, because it's a brand new sound that we're incorporating here, and both, Robbie and I have already replaced vocalists in bands. We didn't want to keep Keychain going. We wanted to start it fresh, new band, new name. And we had a really hard time coming up with a name, like for months. We
Yeah.
just got nothing. And for some reason, I get most of my good ideas in my sleep. I'm not going to say in my dreams because it's not like I dream about it. It's just like I wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom or something because I drink a lot of water. So that's a given. And then, on my way to the bathroom and back, I just have these ideas sometimes. And the word Sicksense came to me. I don't know how or why. And I remember telling Robbie this. I'm like, "Hey, I thought of a name." And he was like, he was asleep. I woke him up. So he was
Yeah, I
still
was like,
asleep.
"What?"
And I'm like, "Sicksense." And he's like, "That's stupid.
Yeah, I
Go
was
to
like,
bed."
"That's stupid. Sixth Sense? I don't want to be
Yeah.
called Sixth Sense. What is this, a Bruce
So
Willis movie or something?"
exactly. So he woke up the next day, and I was upset at him that he didn't like it. And it turns out he thought I was saying Sixth Sense, like the movie. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Why? No, that makes no sense." I
Yeah.
said sick sense.
Yeah, and then I was like, "Oh, Sixth Sense. That's sick. Yeah, let's do that. That's funny."
Yeah.
I loved it. So yeah, that's how we got the name.
Nice. Awesome. And then you got the Kings Today EP is coming out here shortly. And like what was the meaning behind that name, and what's like the message that you're hoping to send with this EP, if there is one?
Well, meaning behind that name, I mean, it's a song title. And with the other EP that's coming out as well, it's kind of an AB, like the two EP titles complement each other.
Mhm.
I'm not going to say that though, not going to give it away just yet. But yeah, we had these two songs. Kings Today was one and another one. And we were like, this would sound really cool for the title for the EP, more so than the rest of the songs.
Mhm.
And what we hope to pass along, I guess, the message of Sicksense, to me, it's just listen to our music with an open mind. I feel like there's something there for everyone. And if you just sit down with it front to back, really focus on what you're hearing, look at the lyrics, I feel like there's a message there for everyone, and there's some serious themes in there that can make people think and make people feel like, hey, maybe I'm not alone in the things that I'm feeling, because here's this band writing about this stuff that I agree with or maybe disagree with, but let's challenge these ideas and let's talk about it. And yeah, I think our music can be thought provoking, but it can also be very fun and groovy and catchy. So I feel like there's really something there for everyone.
And then also going back to the song itself, Kings Today, I think what we mean by like the chorus that Vicky sings, it's kind of coming from a place where it's like we've both been, and all of us in the band have been like beaten down by like the music industry in one way or another. And it's just kind of like getting to this point where it's like we feel we are talented people and we want to be shown some kind of respect, but it's like the way things have been going for us for one reason or another, we've gotten the short end of the stick in a lot of situations. So I think it's like this empowering chorus to like say like, hey, we are kings today. And I think it's very relatable for a lot of people, where it's like, life in general just beats every one of us down every single day. It's like you could think things are going well for you, and well, they'll throw a curveball out of nowhere and hit you. So it's just like a very empowering song with the chorus. And it's that feeling of like, oh, trying to build ourselves up. And then we're going to continue this story in the future on the next EP as well. So
yes and no. I was going to say that is one part of it. A lot of stuff we write, I find, has like a double meaning,
multiple interpretations.
multiple interpretations depending on who's reading it. So it's like that's the positive message behind Kings Today. The negative message sometimes is about people that live that way, and they live lavishly and they live like kings, thinking like I'm on top of the world right now. And it's like you could be there, and in a split second, someone else is going to come and kick you off the throne and take your spot.
Mhm.
So there's also that message there in that song.
Yeah.
Got it. And I liked, I like what you're talking about with the positive, because I mean, I'm in a recovery program,
Mhm.
so just celebrated 13 years sober,
Oh,
and
congratulations.
it's all about what we have today, one day at a time,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I like the message that, like, you're claiming victory today. We're going to be kings today. That's all
Yeah.
we got. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. We might get knocked off the throne.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
But for today, we're gonna claim it, man. And I
Yeah.
love that. And I see your side too. Yeah, there's people that they forget because they're always on the throne, and somebody's gonna
Yeah.
knock their ass off eventually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
it's more like be grateful for what you have, because you never
exactly.
know. So I do like that about our music, because like sometimes Robbie will write some lyrics and he presents them to me in one way, and I'm like, is this what you meant by that? And he's like, no.
No, but that works. That works too.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think art is like that. Art is very subjective, and multiple people can have multiple interpretations. Like, even if I write a song as the songwriter in a certain way, but a fan or somebody listening to it takes it in a different way, I think it's valid. I think it's a valid way to interpret it. It's like, well, if that's what our music or anyone's music or art is speaking to you, then who's to say
That
that
it's
it
not.
isn't? Yeah,
Yeah.
that it's not.
Yeah, and I liked what you said earlier, Vicky, too, about sometimes people aren't going to agree with the message you're sending, but you're opening dialogue, and that's something we've
Yeah.
been lacking, and it seems like the world lately. It's just people
Yeah.
willing to sit down and talk and hear other people out. It's just like
Yeah.
cancel. If I don't like what you have to say, it's
Yeah.
just like boom, you're
It's
done.
it's a very troubling thing that's happening right now, and I see friends that have been friends for a long time, family just like ruining that relationship because they disagree. And I come from a place where, I'm Greek, and Greek people, they're very upfront and honest. Like they don't care. They're just going to speak their mind.
Yeah,
And I don't want to live in a world where I can't do that. I believe that as long as you're not harming another person in this world, causing harm, physical harm, or like severe emotional harm to someone, that you're allowed to feel and believe and practice life the way you want to. Nobody else should tell you what to do. And you shouldn't tell anyone else what to do either. So it's like, this is what I believe. This is how I want to live my life. And you are free to do whatever you want. Let's celebrate what we have in common as people,
Which is
because
music in a lot of cases.
which is
Yep.
music in a lot of cases, a lot of things. I feel like people are so busy disagreeing, they don't realize that they probably agree on 9 out of 10 other things,
Yeah.
but they're
Oh
so
yeah.
focused on that one thing that like pushes them apart, and it's very sad to see.
And just to add to what Vicky's saying, it's like we're metal musicians. It's like that's what the spirit of heavy metal is supposed to be. It's supposed to be the sense of rebellion, the sense of freedom, the sense of challenging ideas, just talking about things. And then at the end of the day, it's all these different, carny, crazy people coming together at
Yeah.
shows and just having a great time. And then that's what brings us together, that we all appreciate and love music. It's like, no
Yeah.
matter what else we disagree on, it's like at the end of the day, let's find some common ground and realize, hey, we're more alike than we are different anyway. So
Oh,
Yeah.
I agree, man. Man, I loved hearing that from you guys too, because it's been the same kind of like battle I've been living in. I'm retired Navy, and I believe in everybody having their right at their chance at the table, their voice heard, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, during the lockdown, it seemed like everybody was doing their talking behind a keyboard. You know, it's like we couldn't get out and get face to face. And then it's just like everybody gets pretty, you know, ballsy
Yeah.
behind
Yeah.
a keyboard. And like you said, so many like close friends and family and people were just tearing each other apart, you know, and there's still a lot of relationships of my own that I'm hoping to eventually heal. But you know, I remember, and these are a lot of people in the music world, you know, that I've formed
Yeah.
relationships with over the years. And then I remember like when things finally opened, like last year, we have Incarceration Festival here
Hmm.
in Ohio. And,
Awesome.
you know, we got to have that last year. It was later in the year. And all these people that I was like arguing with on social media or whatever, it's just like, which I know you're never going to win somebody over on
Yeah.
social media anyway. So it's not even worth it. But we're there and we're rocking out. And Slipknot was one of the headliners last year, you know?
Yep.
And I'm next to these people who are all like rocking out and everything. It was
Yeah.
like bygones be bygones. We all forgot and we're
Yeah.
enjoying what brought us together.
Yeah.
And then we actually started having some dialogue afterwards, like,
Yeah.
well, I didn't see your point on this. Well, here's my point on this. And it's like, you know,
Yeah.
it's like everybody gets broad brushed and like, okay, well, if you don't like this, then you must be part of this party or part of this
Yeah.
tribe, part of this
Yeah.
gang, you know, basically
Yeah.
gang affiliation. And it was like, no, man, it's just like, I don't agree with this. And here's why. And you explain
Yeah.
to me why you know,
Yeah.
It's
so
it's I think the real problem with this is that we are politicizing everything and things that don't need to be politicized. Like a lot of societal issues, they could just be societal issues. They don't need to be
yep.
necessarily attached to a political party. And that is a big problem. And I think another huge problem is that we're in America, at least, it's like we have other political parties, but it's the two main parties, right? That everybody votes for. It's like one year you vote for one, they don't do their job, you vote for the other one, and like back and forth.
It's a never-ending
It's
cycle.
a never ending cycle. But that being said, I feel like the last few years, it's become there's this very strong belief that there's these 10 points, let's say, in society that you have to agree with all these 10 points to be on this political spectrum. And I'm a person that I'm like, I don't agree with all these. I agree with like half of these. And then I look at another political party and I'm like, well, on these subjects, this political party has it right. So I'm just kind of like, why are you placing people in a way where it's like, to be here, they got to agree with all these 10 points? Why can't you be like, I agree with you here, but I agree with you here, and I'm somewhere on this spectrum, not on one side or the other? Because at the end of the day, we're all different people. We're all very unique and very different. We have a different way of thinking. If we all thought exactly the same way, life would be really, really boring.
Yeah, we're all
Yeah.
individuals. It's a little difficult to just make things so black and white. It's like we're all varying colors and everything and whatnot. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing I mean, even back before like let's say Big Don came in the picture and it seemed,
Yeah.
you know, everybody really lost their minds even more there. But I mean, I would watch both parties, you know, and I'm always like, you know, I'm going to vote for who I feel the candidate is best for our country, my children's
Yeah.
future, for
Yeah.
everybody. It doesn't matter. I'm not like party line guy, you know.
Yeah.
But I also notice, going back to pro wrestling, seems like a lot of these guys, you know, are back in the locker room before they come out. All right, today you're going to be the heel and I'm going to be the face, you know, and we're going to take this,
Yeah.
you know, but they're all part of the same organization. Really, they're all bought and paid for,
Yeah.
it seems like, by the same, you know, multi-million-dollar company, you know.
Yeah.
It's all a circus. It's
Yeah.
And they all come out and just put on a show for us, but they, you know, not as good. They ain't coming off the top ropes. They're just coming from their little seats and stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
So the moral of the story is turn off the news and watch pro wrestling instead. You'll have a better time.
You'll have a happier ending, you know. It's eventually the good guys win, and you feel
Yeah.
Yeah.
good. You
Yeah.
know? But speaking of like kind of is it kind of, I guess, a good segue, maybe not, but you know, like what could be opposing issues, but not saying that your marriage is like that or anything, but what's it like working together as husband and wife? Now you guys are creating music together. You've kind of said like you do see like Robby will write some lyrics and he'll be
Mhm.
coming from one way and you'll see
Yeah.
another side. But then you have to go on the road eventually working with the band, and you have other members contributing.
Yeah.
And then say one day Robby leaves his dirty socks out, and you're pissed off. And how do you keep that from, getting on the tour bus and affecting, how do you guys
Yeah.
work together, work out all your stuff so it doesn't affect the whole crew?
Well, first of all, it would probably be the other way around
She'd leave the dirty
because he's obsessed with laundry.
and
Like,
cleanliness.
let me tell you, that laundry basket isn't even full all the way, and he's like, I'm gonna do laundry.
On top of it.
And I'm like, Robby, just wait for the basket to fill up. What are you doing? So
No, but
jokes aside.
to answer your question, in the circumstances where we actually have been working with the other band members in person, we just all have a good time. It's really like, this has been the first band that I've ever been a part of where everything has been seamless. Like, everybody seems to be on the same page. I love these guys. It's like I've known them for like years and years, and we're like a big family. It's like a big, nice family. And then if there is any like tension between Vicky and I, for whatever reason, she has a very sarcastic, well, we both have sarcastic personalities, so we just make jokes about it. Like, if we're ever arguing, we just take it in a positive light and take everything with stride, and we're fine.
And I will just say, because I've been like in the Agonist, let's say, for like 8 years. Obviously, like, we're actually married, so it's a little stronger, but any band relationship dynamic is almost like a marriage. Like, it is, you are in a relationship with another 4 or 5 individuals, especially when you're on tour. Everybody's different. They have different strengths, different weaknesses. Certain things are going to piss you off about their personalities and vice versa. But you just have to have that respect and understanding that everyone isn't exactly like you. And if you have a problem with someone or something that they did, it's better to pull them aside and be like, hey, can we talk about this, before it builds up inside of you and you just explode on them one day. And just having that respect and open line of communication can really benefit you in the long run.
Yeah, I love that. And then, you're talking about being one big happy family. I was catching up on some of your videos, and the Kings Today video, it's like nobody's leaving the dinner table till mama gives permission to leave. It looked like, and then, come on, you should know not to wear white on spaghetti night,
Yeah. Kings Today is one of the songs that in the lyrics, it's exactly what we were talking about earlier, with people having unnecessary arguments and bringing those to the table, literally and figuratively. That's why at the end of the video, we have the fight and we sit down. We're like, Robby's like, hey, who wants pie? We can all agree on pie. Everything's cool. But we wanted to do that with the food fight as like a visual representation that we're here, we're a family, and we're fighting for no reason.
Yeah, it's really trivial problems, like I say in the lyrics, where it's like a lot of times we're just fighting for the sake of fighting, and it's like, what are we fighting for? It's like, we have enough stress to worry about on a daily basis, just surviving, paying our bills, making sure everybody's healthy. It's like, all this other stuff is like fluff. Like, just take care of yourself and try to be free and like enjoy your life, because it's short,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. So what was the symbolism then with the teddy bear? What's the meaning behind?
Again, multiple meanings. Vicky, do you want to take this one?
Me?
Yeah. Like, for me, it's like, I saw our mascot, who's been named Deli the Bear since the video came out. Deli is kind of like this representation of an outsider looking in. Kind of like, I always use the social media and as an analogy for him. It's kind of like how you can see people arguing on social media, and then it's out to the public, and other people are just observing, watching people bickering about whatever issue. And it's kind of like that outsider looking in and not even saying anything, just being there, this ominous presence, just around.
It's like, one aspect's that. Another aspect is like, he could be the imaginary problem. Like when him and our bassist Sam are fighting because they're sitting next to each other, it's like the bear could be the imaginary problem that's bothering Sam. It's like, doesn't exist, but he's so focused on it.
Yeah, we don't have the elephant in the room. We have Deli the Bear in the room. So.
The bear could be that outside fan that thinks they know everything that's going on and
Yeah,
that their opinion matters so much behind the keyboard. And
could
then
yeah,
There's
and it
so
really set
many
off your bass
things.
player.
Yeah.
yeah.
The bear is whatever people want the bear to be.
So, do you guys? I mean, you're getting ready to go on the road with Agonist, but do you guys have plans to eventually take Sicksense on the road, or are you looking to do
One
some of
day,
that?
Oh,
for sure.
absolutely. Given like all our experience in our previous projects and having worked together in person, we know we are going when the time comes, we are going to be putting on a tremendous live show. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And like as Vicky and I do on our Twitch streams that we have our own Twitch channels and we're streaming like 5 days out of the week. And our audiences are seeing that even if we have serious topics in our songs, we're actually very fun people, and like our banter is fun, and sometimes we'll collaborate and do covers of songs together, and we're just having a good time. And we'd like to think that when we finally do play live shows, that's what it's going to be. It's going to be like a very positive and uplifting environment, even if the music we're putting out is a little serious. We'd like to think it's still fun as well, but definitely our live show, it's going to be like a lot of fun, and our personalities and our
Yeah.
relationships are going to shine through but
Uh,
no rush for them.
yeah. And I really want to say that on that note that I feel like it's a lot easier to pass along a message to someone in a fun, lighthearted way instead of trying to shove it down people's throats.
Yes.
And you know, we're doing music because we love music, because it's fun, it's entertaining. We're not doing it to try and be some social justice warriors ourselves. So it's like we write about the stuff that's important to us and we put that on paper, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, hey, if someone just wants to listen to our music because it's groovy and they want to scream along to it and sing the lyrics for the catchiness of it, but they don't really necessarily care about the lyrics, it's just about the music for them, that's
That's
fine
fine.
too, you know. So we're just doing what feels right to us, and I think that will translate in a live setting. We're going to be having fun, and if it gets people thinking and looking at our lyrics and our messages, then that's awesome.
Yeah, and I'd just like to add, there's no obligation to agree with us. And then at the end of the day, you know, we're self-aware. We're just entertainers. So we're here to provide art and music for you to enjoy. It's not for any other reason other than that. But if we can provide any positivity, we hope that people see it through our lyrics and we're coming from a good place. We don't mean any harm by anything we ever say or do.
Nice. And out of this latest EP, is there a particular song on there that you're just like m- looking forward to being able to play in front of a live crowd?
Ooh, for a live song. Hmm. Uh, Probably Forgotten Days, our latest single. I would actually like to perform that live because that song out of all of them probably means the most to me on a personal level. Uh, I'm putting my heart on my sleeve with that one. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun to perform that one live for me.
It's funny. So I'm gonna actually say what is Rob's favorite song on the EP. It's Heart of Stone. I'm anxious to play that one live because I feel like it's a very anthemic song. And it's written for the fans and the people supporting us all these years. And it's got that chorus when it hits, it's like soft and bouncy. And I feel like it's a song that you would like wave your hands
With
to.
lighters in the air.
Lighters in the air, even though it's not a ballad,
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like that song would translate live really, really well.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun with the vocal interplay we got going on too in that one. Fans will appreciate it.
Yeah.
Nice. And then will Deli the Bear be joining you guys on the road?
Everyone keeps asking us. I think we're gonna have to take him on the road at this point. He's gonna have to quit his day job, and that's it. He's gonna be working for Sicksense full time.
You
No
have like
money in it, but people will love you.
do like kind of like a guar type thing and have them throw spaghetti at people in the audience or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Who
No.
knows?
We'll do our best. We'll do our best.
Awesome. Well, we've been on we went over our mark a little bit, but if you guys have a little bit more time, I got a couple questions that I normally ask my guests that I'd like to run through with you guys. That's cool.
Sure.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
do
Let's
it.
go. We're
Talking
having fun
about
here.
like music inspiring others and connecting with people, is there any particular songs from other artists that have been some of your like very inspirational that's helped you out in some dark times and picked you up, uh that's like a regular go-to on your playlist? Like
Hmm.
I personally don't have that. Like, there have been a lot of artists and songs that helped me like through a particular time in my life, but I don't have that like playlist like you mentioned that I go back to in certain times. And I think that's just because I've always been all over the place with my musical taste, and it's just like it depends what I'm feeling in the moment, and I choose the band or the style of music that I want to listen to. But I don't have that, one band or one song that I go back to,
Oh,
you know?
for me,
You
I
do.
have a different response. Yeah, for
Yeah.
me, I always go back to my biggest influence. Like I love Slipknot and Corey Taylor's lyrics. So like I would say like just a song like Wait and Bleed. I just everything like he's written on those two albums, Slipknot, the self-titled one, in Iowa, it speaks to me and it's very relatable and it got me through a really dark time period in my life when I found them and I started listening to them. So I always appreciate it and it always gets me out of like dark times and it motivates me in my way. I love the idea of taking something negative that happened to you, and this is what
Yeah.
I like to do with my lyrics, and turning it into something positive, like turning it into a song. It's like some people in this life, they'll have stuff bad happen to them and use it as an excuse to do bad to other people. And it's like there's two
Yeah.
ways of going about it. You can have something negative happen to you and be a negative person and do even more negative things to others and hurt them, or you can learn from it, grow, realize, hey, this can be used to make me stronger and learn from it and become a better person and give back to the world in a better way. So I always like that. And I feel that's what Corey does in Slipknot. And I'd love to do the same with my band, Sicksense, and anything else I do in life.
Awesome. Yeah, the longer I've been in recovery, the longer it's like I used to have the poor me attitude for things that happened to me in life, but as I've been longer in my journey and work in my program and stuff like that, we get some new people that come in and they're right in the middle of where I was.
Hmm.
And now I'm like using my experience, strength, and hope to walk them through it instead of,
Yeah.
still dwelling and hurting others. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. It's awesome. Um, and then 3 people who've inspired you or you can credit for making you the person you are today.
Ooh.
Three people, not
Yeah.
like
3 people. Three
musicians.
people.
Three people?
uh, I could answer this one.
Go for it.
Like I don't mean to be corny or cheesy, but my number one person who's inspired me the most is my wife Vicky. She's brought me out of a lot of things and helped me be the man I am today. Uh, not to get emotional about it.
Oh.
And then sorry. And then I love these guys for doing this for me, but I also wouldn't have met Vicky in the first place if it wasn't for Rich Ward, the guitarist and my bandmate in Stuck Mojo, for finding me and giving me a chance, and their manager Mark Willis for also teaching me a lot of the things I know today and I implement on a daily basis for myself and anybody else I'm working with. It's all thanks to Vicky, Rich Ward, and Mark Willis. Yeah, those are my 3.
Awesome.
Three people. I mean, I hate that you went first because he said me, and now like I feel like I'm gonna be extra corny if I say him, But yeah, it's I want to say this in a way that doesn't sound complainy, but like being a woman in this industry, um it's rare that you'll find a lot of males, and especially um that you're dating, that you're with as a spouse, that will uplift you and put you on a pedestal instead of like compete with you. I've had relationships with other men in the past where like I felt like when I was doing really well, or they felt like I was doing a bit better than they were in music, they were happy for me, but like there was that underlying like jealousy almost, or that like I want you to do well, but I have to be doing better than you. And as a person that like I feel like I have a lot to give in the music world, and I feel like I'm a really good musician naturally, just like my God-given talents. I've made the most out of them, but I feel like I wasn't able to flourish unless I was in an environment where the people around me would be like, do your thing, be you, and shine, you know? And Robby has been that for me. So, yeah.
Aw.
There's Robby. And then I want to say, like, some of my bandmates in the Agonist as well that just like welcomed me with open arms and just over the years have trusted me to do more and more and just had my back and been like, yeah, Vicky knows what she's doing. She's a great singer. She's a great musician, performer, all these things. And again, it goes back to the having these males that aren't threatened by your shine or whatever, which I don't mean to sound like I'm complaining, but it is a strong thing in this industry. And a lot of men that are coming out and saying, like on social media, like celebrate women in metal. I have met a few and they are not like that behind the scenes. They are very much celebrate women, but I'm going to be bigger and better than you. So, not to get negative, but when you do find people like that in your life, you got to like hold on to them really tight because they are, one in a few really. And I guess finally I would say my dad probably should be at the top of my list, to be honest with you, because I'm really grateful for my dad for like not spoiling me in life. Because like I grew up and he had a really difficult like childhood, and he came to like the States as an immigrant and all that, and like had to really, really fight. I'm getting all teared up. Damn it, Robby.
Damn it, Bobby.
Yeah. And he became really successful. Like, I grew up, I didn't struggle as a kid. Like we had money. We weren't like the richest house on the block by any means. I had like classmates that were a lot more well off than we were. But my dad never spoiled me. Like he was never like, here, you can have whatever you want. Like everything that I wanted as a kid, I had to fight for it. And he would say like no 20 times before he finally said yes. And I think the reason he did that was like as a test to see like, do I really want it? Or is it just this like toy thing that I saw on TV that it's like, every kid has to have this. Can I have it? So if I gave up after a while and I stopped badgering him, like, can I have this? Can I have this? Then, it wasn't a waste. But then when he saw me like really fight for something, it's like, okay, you can have that. And like one of those things was like my first keyboard. I remember driving back from his work, I think one day, and I was with him in the car and I saw like a Guitar Center, and I was like, hey dad, can we go in and like check out what they have? And like my dad being my dad was like, okay, we go in, but we're not buying anything. I'm like, okay, fine, let's just go inside. And for some reason, I was like 8 or 9 at the time, I just gravitated toward like the piano section where they had like keyboards and actual pianos and stuff like that. And the sales associate came by, how can I help you today? And we actually landed on this like starter keyboard, Yamaha, $300, whatever. And like my dad caved. He's like, okay, fine, we'll get you this keyboard. And I don't know what it was that possessed me that wanted this keyboard so bad. I guess I knew I wanted to be a musician before I knew I wanted to be a musician. So
nice. Well,
Yeah.
you got me teary-eyed too. I'm a dad, and I got 2 daughters, and my oldest, she wants to be a singer, and I'm trying to encourage her with that. And then you got me like thinking, because I wish I would have took your dad's stance and waited for asked 20 times, because my youngest wanted a keyboard like a couple Christmases ago, and it's sitting like right over here off camera. And I'm trying to learn how to use it for the podcast or something, because it hasn't really gotten much use. But
yeah.
Good
Oh, that's
stuff.
nice.
And then speaking of like childhood stuff, favorite toy as a child?
Ooh. Oh, I know. It's not even a toy. Rollerblades.
Your
Yeah.
rollerblades.
Oh yeah, I love like I was the kid that I was in middle school too, and I would go out with my rollerblades and kids would make fun of me because they felt like we're in middle school now. We're young adults, what are you doing with your rollerblades? That's something kids do in elementary school. And I'm like, I'm 13, I'm 14. I still want to have fun. I'm not in a rush to grow up. So I just loved rollerblading as a kid. Like I felt like it was like I like biking too, but rollerblades, like I felt like you were going faster almost, even if you weren't. I don't know. A big sense of freedom whenever I would rollerblade, I guess.
And then for me, I had this stuffed animal that my godmother Connie gave me, Buddy. I had the stuffed bear, and it was or
There it
no, it was
is.
stuffed bunny. Stuffed bunny. He was a stuffed
Oh,
bunny, like a teddy bear, and that was my
thought it was
favorite
the
toy
original
I
deli.
had. No, no, I didn't have an original deli. I had a bunny. That's what it
Nice.
was for me.
And then, any message that you have for our military members currently serving overseas?
Oh wow. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for
you.
all you do and your sacrifices. It means a lot. You are the true heroes
Yeah.
out there, and we appreciate your sacrifices. Thank you.
Yeah. I often feel like I do what I can through my music because that's the most that I can do. I can't imagine what that is like, putting your life on the line for your family and your country. So like we are extremely grateful.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. So if before we get ready to wrap up, if any the audience and people out there like new to hearing about you and want to know more or support you guys or pick up the new EP and stuff like that, where would you send them?
Oh, I would say our website, soundescapeagency.com. You can find Sicksense there and all our socials there, and the rest of our clients as well, like the
All our
Agonist,
projects.
Vicky
Yeah.
solo stuff. You can find us on Twitch. We both stream regularly. Vicky streams 3 times a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And I stream Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we both do live vocal performances of our original music and covers, and we take requests. It's a lot of fun, and Vicky has built a great community there. And yeah, just come hang.
Yeah. And then,
We're easy. We're very accessible and easy to find.
Yeah. And also just like all our social media with Sicksense, go follow the band or subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are DIY, like the website that Rob mentioned.
We run it ourselves.
Yeah, soundescapeagency.com. It's like a merch store that we started for all our projects because we ship everything here from home ourselves. Like there's our EP, Kings Today. So yeah, if you want to pre-order it, and then just all our social media, Instagram, YouTube,
TikTok,
Facebook, Twitter, all these platforms. If you follow the band, it's the best possible way to just stay in touch with what we do. And because we are DIY, even that, 1 or 2 people that will follow us daily, it really means a lot and it's helping us grow.
Yep.
Awesome. And then like one last favor before I let you guys go, you mind cutting a promo ID for the show?
Sure.
Just introduce yourselves, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle.
All right. Yeah.
Cool.
This is Sicksense. I'm Rob the Ripper, and this is
Killer V, and you're listening to today's Boondoggle podcast.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. That's great. Good talking with you. And Robbie, we got a great indie wrestling organization here called Absolute Intense Wrestling.
Oh, yeah. I'm familiar. I've heard of them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'd love to have you out sometime.
Oh,
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. I'll hit them up, and we'll see what happens.
Awesome, man. Thanks again for your time, guys.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Lovely.
Great chat. Loved hanging
Bye-bye.
with you.
Bye.